Hey guys, welcome to the LWORD, episode 7 of season 2. This episode was very interesting. um, every episode of LWORD Generation Q is interesting, but this one, a lot happened. But my one gripe right now is that there was no Micah and Maribel. I was very unhappy about that. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. So let's just jump right in. There are a lot of parallels happening. There are some things that happen in this episode as somebody who identifies as bisexual, pansexual, however you want to identify or label me. I was not happy with how they wrote Alice this week, especially after what happened last week. So we're going to talk about all of this stuff. But first of all, Sophie and Finley are basically going at it like rabbits in heat, all over the place, even, forgoing water and food. It's even to the point where they finally debuted Sophie's segment, her first segment that she was making for Alice, spotlighting real lesbians through history, which is great. She got all dressed up. She was very, very nervous. Finley came to see her, and then they ended up having sex in the green room. Sophie actually never went on the stage, never did really, because I literally thought that Alice was going to call her out on the stage and say, "Hey, this is Sophie." She did name drop her, but this is this is Sophie. This is the one who did this. Blah blah blah. That never happened. So she got all dolled up to have sex with Finley in the green room. That's what I got out of that. And apparently one of the big bosses, Barry, wanted to congratulate her. Luckily, Alice opened the door first because she caught them. And I love the running joke about everybody keeps having sex on that couch. What is it about this damn couch, And Finley's like, it's actually the proximity of the room. So I thought that was interesting. But Finley and Sophie is, as my spouse would like to say, hard to read, because you never know where she is at any given time. And what I mean by that is a lot of things were said by a lot of characters in this that are kind of effed up. But Sophie, first of all, basically told Finley she was a child and that they really don't talk or she implied they have nothing really in common except being into each other kind of and having sex, which prompted Finley to approach Danny and ask her how to be more like her, more like an adult, which is very interesting. That's a very interesting thing to do. But yeah, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna basically come back around to Finley and Sophie in a second. So I don't know what is going on with Bette. That has always been hard. She's always been a person that you don't cross. She holds her own in a fight. So, I mean, I've always respected that about her in the OG series, but they are really making her into a bitch. I'm like, and I hate to say that, but I mean, so Alice and her were having brunch and Gigi and Nat were outside. And of course, Alice, spotted Nat immediately. And, they start talking. And then right before that, they were talking about each other's ex, which is very ironic. And Alice said, well, what about, where's Gigi? She said, and Bette said something along the lines of probably going, off with somebody else and playing mind games. And I'm like, okay. The problem I have with that comment is Gigi never played mind games with Bette. Bette was actually using her for sex. So that was really effed up. And I felt like Bette used her reputation to say and basically make these little remarks. It is an effed up situation. But yeah, Bette, that was effed up. And then we had Sherry in this episode who basically wanted to pretty much mend the fences with Bette and bond with Bette. And Shane was having this charity where some of the proceeds were going to go to the MS Foundation because, of course, Tessa's mother has MS. And, just to raise money for research. And so Sherry calls Bette and Bette says, okay, you can come, which is, you're thinking this is an olive branch. Well, Bette at the same time is getting her dream, relationship going because she's got Pippa to sign with her to basically let her hold her or handle her career. She got her museum gig, which focuses heavily on BLM, which is right up Pippa's alley. So she invites Pippa to this charity, and Sherry's trying to talk to her. So Bette was a complete bitch to Sherry. She was a bitch. And I'm like, wow. I'm to the point right now where I'm not liking Bette too much. I'm gonna be real with you. She's actually problematic as hell for me this season. And it's sad because again, I don't dislike her character, but right now she really is making me not like her. And Sherry, so Shane dropped Tess off at an AA meeting, and she basically saw Sherry going into the same building. Now, when she basically asked her about it, Sherry said, "It's my OA meeting," which I guess is like Overeating Anonymous. And so Shane was like, "Cool." I don't know if this is true because Sherry was drinking her ass off during this event. So there's a good chance that she may not be telling the truth. But I don't know. I kind of feel like the whole situation with all of them is extremely messed up. Like in this episode, everybody was having problems in some sort of relationship. They even had a focus on Angie and Jordy. We saw last week that Jordy was very preoccupied on her phone and with prom and being prom queen. And she wasn't really listening to what Angie was saying. And that kind of carried out in this episode where, Angie's trying to figure out some questions to ask her donor dad, and she's talking to Jordy, and Jordy's kind of like in her own space again, not really paying attention. So Angie decided at that point that she was going to break up with Jordy. She even talked to her half sister and was like, have you ever broken up with anybody? And I was like, well, it's gotten to this point now. But Jordy turned things around because the moment Angie came to break up with her, she did like this whole promposal thing, which is cute, with all these umbrellas and they're dancing at a fountain and stuff to ask Angie to prom, which I think saved their relationship. But I don't know if that's going to be something that can save it over a prolonged period of time if Jordy is being self-absorbed. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I really don't. Now, I talked about parallel like relationships in a way, or at least parallel moments in this. And I feel like the conversation that Danny had with Finley was almost the exact same conversation that Bette had with Sherry. The irony of what I like to call Danny baby Bette or Bette Jr. is not lost on me. And like I said, Gigi is not a saint. And I'm not even trying to make her into a saint. She cheated on Nat. I mean, Nat is very screwed up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she cheated on Nat. And, while she was Bette, she was still kind of flirting around with, with Danny. But to be fair, again, I never understood her and Bette's relationship because Bette 1 minute called her girlfriend and the next minute called her a friend. So like Bette was never really invested in that to begin with. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to give Gigi a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because quite frankly, I don't feel like she was really attached. Like they were not a thing. They were obviously not a coupling. And honestly, if Pippa had been around, actually we did see that when Bette even went to see Pippa's artwork. She kind of blew Gigi off before even knowing where Pippa was. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, that Bette never took that relationship seriously to begin with. And so I don't think Bette gives a crap if she hooks up with Danny. But I just think it's interesting that she said that Gigi was playing mind games. And I'm like, in terms of her relationship with Gigi, it was actually Bette who wasn't returning her calls. And it was actually Bette who would only show up when she wanted to get laid. So I don't know. The whole situation's messed up. In retrospect, Alice only tried to hook them up to get her away from Nat. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. So Alice, she slept with Tom last week. And now this week, she literally is getting it on with Nat, her ex. And she even had sex with her, basically public sex with her hanging out the sunroof of the car. Guys, I have to say this because, again, I don't like biphobia. And I hate when writers write characters that are bisexual. Basically, like people in the LGBT community describe us, that we have to have our cake and our ice cream and our frosting all on side. It's just like, it is very annoying because I feel like there's so many things they could have done with this situation and not had Alice just cheat, because I feel like this is something that just keeps happening with the bisexual characters and it just irritates the shit out of me. I'm sorry. It just really does. And what Alice did is effed up. And from the preview of next week, when she tells Tom, he's going to get pissed, and he has every right to be pissed because he's going in. He slept with her thinking that they were going to start some sort of relationship. I mean, maybe they didn't have the exclusive talk, but I mean, he does not seem the kind of guy who is going to be okay with her sleeping with him and then sleeping with her ex. So that whole situation with Alice pisses me off. I'm just putting it out there. It's sad when we have her on the show, her talk show, talking about progression and spotlighting, couples, or especially lesbians that went through so much to be together, but that you turn around and live up to every damn freaking stereotype that's negative and biphobic. So I have issues with that. I'm sorry, but this is more of a writer's problem. It is not obviously the actress. It's not obviously the character as a whole. It is the writer's problem. They need to do better. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It just needs to be better. But yeah, so that whole situation is what it is. So we had some more hookups. We had Bette finally got it on with Pippa. So they had sex. And Pippa even says everything that she does for her son. So I'd love to know the story behind that, because I didn't realize she had children, but then how would we? She's still pretty relatively new. But she did get introduced to Shane and Alice. So that is a thing. And then Shane and Tess finally kissed too in this episode, which I thought was really cool. I actually like Tess for Shane because I feel like she grounds Shane a lot, and Shane needs that. I don't know what's going to happen. I really hope that they don't do something to F it up. We already had one Tess, and that was with Shari. So she's gone. So hopefully we don't have to worry about any other distractions, any other exes, any other, whatever. What'll be really, really messed up is if Tess's ex-girlfriend that Shane slept with comes back, to try and work things out with Tess. That would be another test of their relationship. And honestly, I would love to see how that played out. Now, I have to say this. I am really worried about Sherry. And I really don't know if they should have left Sherry at home, because Sherry literally said, I don't know if I can live like this anymore. And I don't think I can marry Tina. That worries me. That is actually a cry for help. I know she was extremely drunk, but I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fact that she was left alone with that. And I don't think they had further conversations. So yeah, they may have gone in the house and got her water and put her to bed. But I mean, she sounded suicidal to me. I'm just saying. And we already have somebody who's on antidepressants drinking alcohol. This is not a good mix. I really hope that she doesn't do something to herself or attempt to, because that'll be so messed up. So I'm in my feelings about that. Let's see. Trying to think of anything else that I'm missing from this episode. And then I can go back to I'll go back to Alice and Nat, and then to Sophie and Finley. But yeah, I pretty much think I got everything except for, okay. So back to the whole Alice and Nat thing. Nat is so messed up. I'm like, she's just like, oh, Alice is sleeping with me again. So she's completely okay with me being whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. And then when Alice is like, this has been fun, but, nothing has changed. And Nat's like, yeah, nothing has changed. She said, well, we can't be together. And I guess my problem again towards Alice is then why the hell did you open that can of worms to begin with? I understand you miss her and that you miss that relationship. But I mean, you have to let that ship sail. I mean, I'm sorry. Even if you don't want to be with Tom, you have to let that ship sail. This woman has literally told you she wants to be with multiple people. She needs that. That is who she is. She cannot be, just a monogamous person. So why are you even entertaining this? So I don't understand. And I felt like Alice made so much progress in the last episode. I mean, just take Tom, the whole sex thing with Tom out of it. He got her to start opening about Dana, about his, how she really feels about her mother, like all these things that Alice does not do, which is talk about herself or her feelings. Actually, Shane, her, and Bette are all the same. That's why they get along so well. They don't have to really share all of their deepest, darkest thoughts about themselves. So he got her to open up. And now I feel like everything 180 this week. It's so annoying to me. It's just very, very annoying to me. Okay, so back to the whole Sophie Finley thing. The whole conversation again with Finley and Danny, and she's saying, "I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't F you up." I think Finley generally means this. People don't realize she's sweet. Yes, she fucked up. And yes, she's socially awkward because she is. She is very socially awkward. And Danny admitted that because everybody thinks she has it together and is, an adult and the most adult and mature and basically organized and dedicated to doing her work, that nobody understands that she's vulnerable and needs a hug. Basically, she has abandonment issues, which makes sense. And so she feels, kind of put out by that. And I feel like the whole situation where Danny goes and she catches Alice and Nat in the bathroom and they reinforce that Gigi is into her. And Nat's like, I've never seen her like this. I feel like Gigi's reputation is going to mess everything up, because when Danny goes to talk to her, she's like, can I trust you? Are you real? And she's like, yes. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm on the 50-50. Could she just be using Danny because she's hurt about Bette? Yeah. Could she actually be into Danny because she's knows her language, understands her culture, and is actually different from most of the people in the show most of the time? Probably. I mean, it could go either way. I don't want to say that she does. I don't want to say that she doesn't. So I'm kind of playing it by ear, but I do respect Danny for saying, Gigi's like, come in, and Danny says, not yet. I do respect that, because Sophie, I never know what's going through this woman's head. Like, it's like I'm into you, Finley. Oh, but you're a child. What are your career goals? Okay, you don't really have any. Okay, well, let's just have sex, because that's really all we do. That's literally what I'm seeing. And then she said something, again, back to what I said earlier, how people have been saying really effed up things about each other in this episode. Finley's like, I want to learn how to love you. And Sophie's, or basically like Danny did. And Sophie's like, Danny didn't know how to love me. She literally said that. And she said, nobody has loved me the way that you do. I don't know what to say about that, honestly. I know when all of this went down that a lot of people were more mad, especially in the comment section of my videos, with Finley. But guys, I am not going to cut Sophie a break, because Sophie, again, if you go back and watch season 1, she was also an enabler in the cheating. And she also is so flaky sometimes. It bothers me. If you're going to make a choice, even if you're on the fence, you need to be sure before you tell this other person that I want to work things out, or I want to be with you, and then like ask the questions you need to ask, like, do you want kids and all that. I'm like, what is wrong with this situation? It is so effed up. So I don't know, guys. I think Finley needs to go back to AA. She needs to get a therapist, and she needs to find somebody else. And I think Sophie needs to figure out what the hell is wrong with her. I know she's got abandonment issues too, because her dad abandoned their family, and her sister called her out on that crap. So it could just be, all this could be, she never got over daddy leaving. As somebody who does not get along with their dad, I can tell you that the trauma is real when you have an effed up relationship with a parent. Unfortunately, my other parent is no longer in this world. She died. So, that is literally my only living parent, and we have really no connection or relationship whatsoever. And it'll mess you up. It'll make you feel a certain way. So Sophie could be doing all of this because she was abandoned by her dad. And that's something I can understand. So I don't hate the character, but I just need her. I need her to get help too. I feel like all of them need help at this point. Everybody needs to be on Linda's couch on Lucifer. Not Micah, because Micah, I think, needs some help right now too. But yeah, so the episode kind of went out with Sophie being really effing drunk and asking Finley if she was okay to drive, but you don't ever ask her that, because she literally pulled out a flask and was drinking alcohol when you asked her that damn question. And then, they're driving home, and she's trying to get, basically, she put Finley's hand down her pants to try and get off. And then they get pulled over by the police. And Sophie's like, are you okay to drive? Okay, you're okay, right? And, Finley doesn't say anything. And so I don't know if this is going to be a DUI for Finley, if somehow she's going to get out of it. In the preview, Sophie looks pissed. But again, I mean, this is what you signed up for. So, I mean, it's a mess. It is a mess. And I actually really like Finley as a character. And I can't just hate on her 100% because she cheated with Sophie, because it takes two to cheat. And at this point, besides Danny technically and Angie, I don't know of anybody else who has not cheated in this show. And I mean, everybody, well, Maribel probably hasn't, but everybody else pretty much has. But as for the pairing of Sophie and Finley, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I feel like this is going to get very bad very quickly. And I really feel like these characters need to deal with themselves before they get with other people. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get nothing but Jerry Springer drama from these two characters. So, but yeah. But I love how one statement that Sophie said was so reminiscent to Tina, where she said, when I was with Danny, I lost myself. And Tina has said that so many times when she was at Bette. It's like we already established like last season that it feels like Danny and Sophie were the Bette and Tina Juniors of this series. And it's true. I mean, it's like parallel lives. It's crazy. But at the same time, I don't know. My takeaways are this from this episode. Alice, fucked up. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. I'm not going to cut Alice any slack. And I know she's got a lot of issues too, but she literally, I mean, I spend so much time, on boards when we talk about the L word and like other comments on my Facebook, Instagram, whatever, defending bisexuality, just to have a character, the only bisexual in the whole show, do exactly what people say bisexuals do. And it irritates the hell out of me. So that is not representation for me. That is just bullshit. So I'm in my feelings about that. I still don't know why Sophie had to get dressed up just to have sex in the green room, because was she meant to go on the stage? I'm very confused on what that moment. Please tell me what is happening with that. The whole thing with Nat is just a train wreck. Let the train go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We know that Danny has abandonment issues. We don't know what's going on with Gigi. There was no Micah and Maribel. That's my main gripe in this episode. Why weren't they invited to the charity event? That's some bullshit. Just saying. Tess and Shane, I'm not opposed to it. I actually think they are cute. So I am there for it. I'm very interesting to see what happens, what trials they go through, because, it's Shane. Shane has changed a lot, but again, it's the L word. I'm like, so I need to know what's going to happen with that. I don't know what's going to happen with Jordy and Angie. They're very young. They're very immature in relationships. So, they're cute, but I mean, the way things are going, I don't think it's going to last. I don't know what the progression is on the whole kidney donation or donor situation. So I guess we'll be seeing that soon. My biggest thing is, first of all, where the hell is Tina? Did I miss something? And Carrie, that whole situation with Carrie breaks my heart, because she literally was trying. And Bette was a mean girl in this. And it's so effing annoying. Even when Bette was being condescending and saying, if you really think you and Tina are meant to be, or your relationship is great and you should get married, then it doesn't matter what I think. And I'm like, but it was the way she said it was so bitchy and condescending. And I felt so bad for Carrie. So I don't know. And like, it just puts me in my feelings, guys. It really does. So yeah, so let me get into, I'm going to open the box now, because I have not had your comment section open. So hey, we got some people in here, and let me minimize this. Ignore this Band-Aid on my face. I had to have a biopsy today, guys, and it's annoying the hell out of me. So if you see me doing that, that's what's happening. All right. The writers are really making Bette out to be this terrible person. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're doing that. She was not, I mean, again, so disclosure. I'm not big on horoscopes, but I'm a Sagittarius. So Sagittariuses, we do not hold or mince our words. We're very direct. Now, I don't try to hurt people, but I'm not going to be one of those people that just sits back. Like, even in my reviews, I'm sure you realize if I don't like something, I will tell you I don't like it, and I don't get pressured by subs or unsubscribers or comments to make me say what people want me to say. I don't give a shit. So it's like, I get that. I get speaking your mind, speaking your truth, not opposed to that. But I feel like they're just literally making her antagonistic for no damn reason, and it's really irritating. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Bette right now at all. Gigi isn't innocent. She was flirting with Danny the same day Bette introduced them. That was before she even found Pippa. Fair. I mean, like I said, I am not trying to say Gigi is a saint. We know. We already know. But I mean, I don't know at this point. I want to believe that there's that one person that you change your shit for. Maybe Danny is. I mean, I think she got impressed and like enamored when she started speaking her language. So I don't know. We got to see where that goes. I cannot throw it under the bus yet until I see more of what happens between them. So we'll see what happens with that. Gigi, she needs to have someone. I mean, there are people like that, unfortunately. Danny was way nicer. Danny was nicer in terms of talking to Finley because she really could smack the hell out of Finley. So I will give her that. But it's just the fact that, the way she was saying, the things she was saying to Finley almost mirrored how Bette was talking to Carrie. And I thought that was really effed up. But at the same time, I understand why Danny's mad. So Gigi is about to get hurt again. Danny is just lonely. This episode really proved it. Yeah, Danny, I mean, she keeps saying it. She said it since the pilot episode? No, the second episode of the season. She was like, she used to go over people's houses, just to be able to wake up with a family. I mean, it's messed up. It is messed up. Gigi and Bette were friends with benefits. This is true. Like, I feel like, because remember, Bette said, "This is my girlfriend," and Gigi's like, "Oh, I'm your girlfriend." Like, she didn't know. They didn't even have that conversation. So it's like, I felt like, I get what people are saying. Okay, well, Gigi was flirting with Danny, blah, 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 which she probably was. But at the same time, you could tell Bette wasn't into her. She saw it. If you go back and look at it, look at the looks on Gigi's face whenever, she would ask Bette a question, or Bette would be like snarky or condescending. Like, she would say some effed up shit. Especially when Angie was wanting to run that DNA test and Gigi came over. Look how Bette talked to Gigi. I mean, she probably was like, you know what, F this. And I mean, I was surprised that she was still sleeping with Bette after that. Because I'm the kind of person, once you start saying shit like that to me, we are done. I don't have time for that. So I don't get that whole situation. I don't understand Gigi and Bette to begin with. So it's a thing. So yeah. Gigi needs to have someone to validate herself. Probably. Unfortunately, she's not the only one in that show that does that. That's the problem. They might need to hire a bi writer. You have no idea. I'm so flipping shit out. Woo! I was in my feelings. I'm like, I love this show, but that shit pissed me off. I'm like, why are we always villainized in these damn? Like, I don't believe, because I know I didn't. I do not believe that everybody who identifies as bisexual or even pansexual is just waiting to cheat. Because I feel like they act like our relationships are revolving effing doors. And it's so annoying to me. It just annoys the shit out of me that is what happens. And for it to happen on the L Word, which is the most progressive LGBT show, it's hard for me. It really is. Alice didn't cheat. She and Tom aren't a thing. I disagree with you, because if we go back and listen to what happened with Tom and how he talked about what happened with his ex and how he went into the wedding, and then we talk about what he doesn't want in a relationship, and then they hook up, Tom thinks that they were going to have a thing. It doesn't matter. So, like, to be fair, to play devil's advocate, Alice probably didn't say, hey, I'm exclusive. I'm only going to be with you. But if you go back to the last episode when she started flirting with him and she said, I want to dance with you and I want to do this with you, and then they have sex still, and then you turn around and have sex with your ex-girlfriend, and this was the person you were going to vent about said ex-girlfriend, that's fucked up. I'm sorry. I mean, I disagree with that. You don't do that. Just because Alex had sex with Tom doesn't mean they were in a relationship. Alice was really in love with Nat and hurt by her. Yeah, but an ex is an ex for a reason. And if you're really hurt by somebody and they are still sleeping with other people, because let's be clear, Nat is not going to be monogamous to Alice, and she knows this, then that's on her. I guess the best case scenario in this entire situation for me is that her and Tom don't hook up and they don't get together, because he's a very nice guy and I feel really bad for him. And if the trailer for next week is any indication, that's going to be a reality. He looks like he is pissed. So, but at least Alice came clean to him. I'll give her that. It looks like she told him the truth, that she slept with her ex right after she slept with him. And Shane was even like, well, what about Tom? You know, it was like, I love the Dumb and Dumber reference, by the way. That was really funny. Bette and Pippa, yeah, they do have chemistry. I like Gigi, but she's acting like a predator towards Danny. Danny needs a friend, not a hookup. True that. Loving Bette and Pippa together. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have chemistry. I'm just not liking how Bette is. I don't like Bette's attitude with everybody else, basically. Don't like the Bette and Pippa thing. Oh, wow. So you don't like them together. That's interesting. Pippa is going to give Bette a taste, no pun intended, of her own medicine. I'm here for the fall. Well, yeah, because Pippa is not the one. Okay, Bette is the one that normally everybody seems to be afraid of. But I think in that relationship, Pippa's got Bette beat. I don't like Alice and Nat together. It's a disaster waiting to happen, and Alice will get hurt again. Oh, absolutely. Hell, Alice has never stopped being hurt. She makes such poor decisions when she's upset and hurt. We saw it all in the OG series now, and we're seeing it now. I mean, she's just not the person. But I mean, look at her mom. So we understand why she is the way she is a little bit. But yeah, it's a mess. It is all a mess. Finn needs therapy. Yep, Linda from Lucifer. I just can't with Finley. I don't like the character. I love Finley's character because she's actually the most real. She's real to me. I have a problem with Sophie. I feel like Sophie is the true selfish one. Yes, what Finley did with her was wrong. I am never going to condone cheating. So yeah, that was effed up as hell. But Finley, even back in season 1, you saw how like messed up she was. Like that, I really liked her with that priest lady. I always say this every week, and I keep forgetting her name. And you think I've actually would have looked it up, but I'm in my 40s now, so I'm tired and I don't remember stuff. So I want to say her name is Rebecca, but I don't think it was Rebecca. But I really liked her with the priest. And she was the one that called Finley out and said, you need to get your shit together because something is wrong. You need help. And from everything we learned about Finley's family last season, they're the reason she's so messed up. So yeah, they all have trauma. They all have familial trauma. They have a lot of issues. But Finley, I think, feels a lot of remorse over the stuff that happened, but at the same time, she's so in love with Sophie, at least she thinks she is, that, you know, she's split. She feels guilty, but she still wants to be with Sophie. Sophie is the one that bothers me because she's so damn flaky, back and forth. And it just bothers me. She bothers me. So you think Finley and Sophie are both selfish? Yeah. Same with Sophie. Finley needs a consistent job in therapy. Yeah, she needs life goals. Pippa has been let down a lot in the past, has been brought through a lot that it's hard for her to trust anyone. I don't blame her. And something happens next week because she is not happy with Bette. I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe a show fell through. Maybe the racist owner of the gallery does something to her. Because Bette says, I'm going to protect you. I don't know what happens, but Pippa is pissed. Piss Pippa is what we're going to see next week. So I don't know. Sophie be tripping too. Oh, absolutely. Sophie has daddy issues. 100 trillion%. Let's see. Is Finley going to afford it? How is Finley going to afford a therapist? She needs a steady income. Even Burger King is a steady income. Well, they do have a lot of churches that will do pro bono therapy if you really, really need it. Because we have it here. I used to work in nonprofits, so that's one of the things I used to do. I used to find therapy for people. So it is possible. It's just your level of commitment, and sometimes you have to get there. Some counselors you actually could see, you know, if you have the capability, you could do it through Zoom. So it's possible to get help. It's not as hard as people think it is. But you have to want to. The problem is realizing that you need to see a therapist. That is always the biggest hang up in all of this, is realizing that you need help in the first place. So Sophie and Finley bring out the worst of each other. They bring out the worst parts and the goofiest parts, if that makes sense. They are very good as friends, like BFF, joking, superficial shit. But I mean, Sophie sees it. She's just acting like she doesn't. She said, you know, the only thing we know about each other is that we can get each other off. That's literally it. That's it. So yeah. F and S are so toxic. Finley needs to go to the local LGBTQ center for therapy. Maybe her insurance can pay. I can see her tutoring kids or something. Finley is funny and dealing with religious trauma. She's dealing with religious trauma, being disowned by her family. I mean, God knows what happened when she went home to Kansas City. They probably treated her like absolute shit. So, I mean, again, I would like to know more about her backstory. I try not to judge a lot of these characters because I know trauma personally. So I understand that trauma can play a big role and how you deal with people. So trust issues are a huge thing. And if somebody in your family or your parental unit causes you trauma in that department, it is going to be very hard for you to trust anybody, you know, in life. So that's something you got to work through. So, all right, hang on. Water time. I'm old. Plus, it is humid as hell in this room. I'm sorry. I had to get my spouse to bring my fan in here because, you know, personal summer. I hate to see how Carrie is feeling. However, there is no way in hell I'm going to be buddies with my ex-fiance. Angie is grown. They don't have to be in each other's lives like that. I think it's exactly what she said. And it's exactly what we said about validation. Carrie is on antidepressants. She has an inferiority complex, and Bette has made her feel inferior since the moment she met her. So, and sometimes on purpose, intentionally. So if you really think about it, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. You don't have to get along with the other mother, even though technically Tina did say she wanted her to, because Tina's like, you have to make this work because that's Angie's mother and she's important. And then, you know, Sherry went on to say something along the lines of, why do I have to be number 3? I get Angie being number 1, but why is Bette number 2? And Tina didn't have a retraction or a rebuttal about this. She didn't deny it. So that is what's going on with her. Carrie is having issues because Tina has not made her feel number 1 in their relationship. So let's start right there. That is literally the problem, you know, the root of that issue. And then how Bette talks to her is another thing. Even Angie said how her mother talks to her is shit because she likes Carrie. So if you have a really big inferiority complex, anybody can tear you down. And the woman's on antidepressants. And right now she's on antidepressants, drinking a shit ton of alcohol. That is very bad. That is a recipe for suicidal thoughts. So I'm very worried about Sherry. Carrie didn't have to approach Bette. She doesn't need Bette's approval. They are making Bette out to be the bad person for no reason. It's a writer's thing. But again, I really believe that Sherry did it for closure. And some people, when you have inferiority complex and it's somebody that you know is going to be around you because of your future wife and her, you know, the daughter, you don't want to have that bad blood. You don't want to be the one sitting in the corner, you know, looking like the outsider looking into that. And she probably felt like a 3rd, 4th, and 5th wheel. So I get it on some level. But again, you're talking about a woman who's on antidepressants. So she's extremely depressed and she has an inferiority complex. And she even said, being around you does not feel good. So I do get it on that level, because whenever I think about this, we're thinking about this situation from where we are in life. We're not thinking about it from a situation of where this woman is in her life. And so that's why on some level, I get it. She needs that validation. Unfortunately, she really needs it. And since Bette isn't giving it to her, it's effing her up. Bette is just being direct. Carrie needs to woman up and just worry about Tina and Angie. Now, Bette was being a bitch. I disagree with that. I'm sorry. She was being a bitch. The writers wrote her as a bitch. There are many things she could have said, other ways she could have said it. She's being a bitch. And she's been doing that a lot this season. Exactly. Bette is a very direct person. If you don't want her truth, then don't ask her. See, I think it's funny. Now, when people do that to you and others, then people want to fight. I have noticed this on my comment section. It's interesting. It is interesting. But the people that are like, Bette's just being herself. She's just telling her truth. Unless it's directed at you. Then you're like, yeah, she a bitch. But no, like I said, I understand direct. I'm direct as hell. I really am. I tried to understand people's feelings. I don't want to be that person that just intentionally hurts people's feelings. So I am very, I'm like, not like my mother who just did not give 5 fucks. She was just like, I don't care. I try to see where the other person's coming from. That's something I don't think Bette ever does. She doesn't think about, she said, I did Carrie because I couldn't say no because she sounded lonely, basically what she's saying, but we need to be at different tables. I mean, that's just catty as shit. That's catty. But yeah, I just feel like there's a difference between being direct and thinking somebody is beneath you. And there's nobody in this chat that's going to convince me from what I've seen that Bette does not think she is better than Sherry. So sorry. I don't agree with that. They all have issues. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they better not all go to Micah. We need Linda. I'm telling you, Linda from effing Lucifer. That is who needs to be their therapist. They have terrible writers this season. It's like they don't even know anything about the OG series characters. I agree with that. I sometimes wonder if these writers have watched the show because it's very telling that I feel like some of them haven't. I think the only reason we're getting better trans representation right now is because a lot of people, including myself, when we did reviews, and I know a lot of people were on Twitter talking about it, it's like, how can you have a trans character like Micah and do essentially nothing with this character? And I feel like the answer to this was giving Micah more screen time this season, even though he wasn't in this episode, and he sure as hell should have been. We should have saw Maribel because, I love the fact that we're dealing with, basically normalizing disabilities, which is what you should do. You should not look at a person's disability. You should look at the person. So I love that they are focusing on that. But I feel like they pick and choose on what to fuck up. And I guess right now it's just open season on bisexuals. I don't know. It's just weird. It is weird. Where is Dr. Linda Martin? Yes, they need her. I would love to have an episode where Linda just like, for some reason, Lucifer is like a crossover with this series. She just rolls in and is like, everybody get on the damn couch. I'm like, we're going to talk. I don't know. Tom does look pissed. Oh, he looks mad as hell. He looks mad as hell. I am looking forward to that conversation. She's taking on new clients. Let's see. Was it Rebecca? Did I get the name right? Okay, maybe my memory is not as crap as I thought. The whole interaction with Alice and Carrie, Rose O'Donnell, about having a lesbian talk show was funny. Yeah, especially when she said, oh, you're a lesbian talk show host. And she's like, I am. I'm like, actually, you're bisexual. Like, little. Don't get me started, guys. Let's see. Finley seemed okay being a friend until Sophie changed the dynamics. That's what I'm trying to tell people. People like give her a bum rap, but even when she came back, she's like, I can move out. I don't have to be friends. She quit the job so Sophie could stay there. Sophie is the one who is 100% more selfish in this situation. Because yeah, let's be clear. I hate to say it this way. Finley is a child. She's naive as shit. She's sometimes a little bit airheaded. Sophie does not have that hang up. So yeah, again, this is not me. Don't leave the stream saying that Maria said that cheating was okay. That is not what I said. I am not giving anybody a pass for that. I'm just saying that I had Sophie's number last season. So it's just a thing. Danny and Gigi have amazing chemistry. They do. Like I said, I'm not pro or anti their relationship. I have to see. I need more information before I can make a determination on what's happening with them. Because I'm trying to separate all of the relationships. and then treat every coupling differently. I don't want to go on this tangent and just say, well, because you're a bitch to this person, you're obviously going to be a bitch to everybody in your life, because that is not how that works. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm wondering if Finn's dad is a priest. I thought he was a reverend. I thought she said she grew up in the church too. I don't know. That's a good question, but that's possible. That is really possible. Thanks for encouraging us to get therapy. Heck, I'm in therapy. I encourage every damn buddy. Look, as a woman of color, I know I'm a little pasty, but as a woman of color, I'm telling you, we don't like to go to therapy. I'm telling you this right now. We think that we need to handle this shit at home, go to church, whatever. But sometimes you need to go to a therapist. You need to work out your stuff. Even when you think you don't have a problem, you probably do. Even if you don't have a problem, it does not hurt to talk to a therapist about stuff. Get it off your chest so that you don't get a problem. So yeah, I'm always pro. I am pro therapy. I think Carrie tried because she loves Tina and is trying to make her happy, but being in their element and her complex is a recipe for disaster. Yeah, and I just did not like how Tina responded to her last time they talked. It was actually messed up. Got to give Tina some blame. Absolutely. So many trans characters this season. I know. I'm really excited, but I don't know if Tess is playing a trans woman or if she's playing cis, and because she's just trans in real life. I haven't figured out if her character is meant to be trans or cis, and I probably missed something in the first season if they talked about her transitioning, because I just don't remember. I know in real life she transitioned a long time ago, because she's in one of my favorite Netflix shows, Sense8. I effing love Sense8. I was heartbroken when Sense8 literally got a little mini movie and was canceled. I was like, that is some bullshit. I love that show. So, but Jamie Clayton has always been a great actress. I've always loved her. So, but I just don't know. So if you guys know, put it in the comments below if you think she actually is playing a trans female, which is even better. But I want to say she's playing cis, because she was also in Roswell, New Mexico, and she was playing a cis character in that. So I don't know. But either way, I love Tess. She's awesome. Tina is definitely to blame, 1,000,000,000%. I have to say I was wrong about Nat saying Gigi is really into you and thinking it was Bette she was talking about. Just didn't know why Danny would be around Nat to have that conversation, because they were fucking in the bathroom. Nat and Alice and their public displays of sex was just what it is. Do you think Danny's a little too concerned about what Bette thinks? I just feel like she cares about it for different reasons than she's letting, because she still has a crush on her. Absolutely. 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 Do you mean Carrie when you said Sherry? No, I said Cherie when I was talking about Shane and Tess, because I said if there was an obstacle, they already got through that obstacle. And then the next obstacle I thought would be if Tess's ex-girlfriend came back, the one that Shane slept with and caused Tess and her to break up. So I thought that would be the next one. But no, Cherie is what I was talking about when we were talking about Shane and Tess's relationship. Carrie is who I'm talking about when I'm talking about Bette and what went down at the charity. There is a connection between Danny and Bette that we haven't seen. Like I said, Danny is very, very attracted to Bette, and she had a crush on her last season. She even admitted it this season. And Bette sees her as a younger version of herself. I don't know if she sees her romantically, but I do know she sees her a kindred spirit in Danny, and they essentially are the same person. So, Danny's a little nicer right now, but yeah, she can say fucked up stuff too. So it's a thing. They definitely should have explored Danny and Bette, because Danny definitely seems confused. I think she's going to be the one to have a breakdown. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Jordy is playing cis too, right? I think Jordy's actress is also playing cis. I think the only one that is established in the series as in character that's trans is Micah. But don't quote me on that, because I don't know if that's true. Because I remember when they first talked about season 1, they talked about bringing in a lot of characters, but sometimes the trans actors were playing cis characters, which is also very cool, because that's what you want to happen. But for representation, you also want to have trans characters. So, but I really want to say that, technically speaking, I want to say that Micah is the only established trans character, but I don't know. because I can't figure out if Tess is supposed to be cis in this. So yeah, that's bothering me. But I don't know. Either way, I don't care because, again, Jamie Clayton's gorgeous. I love her chemistry with Shane. I think Shane and Tess are probably becoming one of my favorite couples. So I'm very excited for them. So right now I am pro Tess and Shane, and I am absolutely pro for, my Maribel and my Micah pairing. I think that they are absolutely adorable. I know they had a little bit of a rough patch. I think the reason they weren't in this episode is because they were getting it on. So they locked themselves in their room. I'm fantasizing here. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if this is true, but that's why they weren't invited to the charity event, which makes no sense. Like, it makes no effing sense because Nat is there and she works with Micah, and Micah is a psychologist and our therapist, and could have gone there and basically helped raise money. I mean, you had literally, okay, so to be fair, Finley was there as probably Sophie's plus one, but she was still there. And then Maribel's a whole ass lawyer. I don't understand why they weren't at this charity event. So yeah, I need to know why they weren't invited to the charity event. And once again, because I'm going to keep saying it because I'm clowning right now, why Sophie bothered to get dressed up just to have sex with Finley in the green room. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if she really was supposed to walk out on that stage. I don't know. That was just weird for me. People keep saying they want Carmen back. I'm still waiting for Shane to come back. Sometimes it feels like separate from the show. It's weird. I don't feel like I'm getting enough of Shane. Yeah, I mean, this is the older, more mature, Shane. Finley, I guess, is supposed to be baby Shane. That's what they're making it look like. I don't know. But Carmen can't come back because of cultural appropriation. Which is kind of like, I get it. I do. I get it. But I mean, they culturally appropriate everywhere else. So it's like, it's so hard. Like, not necessarily with the L word per se. But like shows like the new Charmed or Charmed reboot. I call it Charmed reboot. I mean, they culture appropriate all the damn time. With two of the characters not being Afro-Latina, just being black and white, and one of them is black, white, and indigenous like me. And none of that says Hispanic or Latina. So it is what it is. I just thought it would have been an easy fix to just say, oh, she found out that she actually was adopted and she's actually Persian. And then we're like, bam, you just brought Carmen back. But they didn't do that. But I guess if they brought Carmen back, we wouldn't have Shane and Tess. And I actually like Shane and Tess. So I don't know. That would definitely be a speed bump in their relationship. But I do know that Sarah wanted to come back as Carmen, and she just wasn't asked. So there's that. And I think it's sad because she was in the OG show, and she doesn't get to come back because of cultural appropriation. And the writer's room, like when the showrunner went to the writer's room, she actually said this in an interview. She asked, could they bring Carmen back? And her Latina staff said no. So that was it. We will never get Carmen. We will not get Carmen, at all. And that's kind of messed up. So, but it is what it is. I get it. I do get it. I do understand it. But at the same time, it just really effing sucks. Because this character's already established. So it's sad. It is sad. Let's see. Sorry, my chat went up again, so I'm trying to figure out where we were. I think we were here. They definitely should have explored Danny, but okay, no, I already read that one. Okay, read that one. Here we go. Alice put some Febreze on that couch. No, she told Sophie and Finley to put some Febreze on that couch. Even though I am forever to Bette, I still want to see Bette and Danny together for a bit. I can see that. It's TV. They can change anything. I know. I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense. You guys still haven't told me where the hell Tasha is. So, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, Jenny was whole ass dead, and then they just, they reworked this whole story where she killed herself, when I believe the whole idea was that Alice killed her and went to jail, and they were going to do like a spin-off series about it. So like, yeah, the whole thing is it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. I don't know, guys. But again, I've already buried it. I buried the fact that we are not going to get our representation for Carmen. Carmen is gone. We're not going to have I mean, I don't think she's going to be in like literally any capacity. So I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I get it. I get it on so many levels. So it's so hard because we never got the closure we wanted, basically, is what I'm saying. We didn't get to see how this would have played out. We didn't get to see, would they have been able to get back together? Even if they didn't get back together, would they have had a conversation? Because we never got a conversation. The only thing we got, I think, is when Jenny made that going away video for I think it was for Bette and Tina, because they were going to move. She had a little blurb in it, and that was the whole thing after Shane broke up with Molly and all that stuff. But we never got anything else. Like, we don't know what happened. I mean, it's like she didn't even exist in this universe. Nobody even talks about her, really. I think Shane kind of did like a whole regret. I love somebody I really loved at the altar, and I regret it type situation, even this season. But that's it. She said it this season, and she said it in the episode where she was doing the hair of the girl that was getting married, and she like slept with the bridesmaid, and and of course the bride was coming on to her, and she's like, "You remind me so much of someone." And she was talking about Carmen. So, like I said, it's messed up. Like, the whole situation is just messed up. And then, like I said, with Sarah Sahi, I loved her. I absolutely loved her as Carmen. Yeah, some of their stuff was toxic a little bit, but they had so much chemistry. But to be fair, if you remember, she did get it on with what's her face from Angel and Point of Interest. So we did get to have a little bit more of lesbian Sarah Sahi, in another show. And Point of Interest was a cool show. So it's a thing. It's a thing. Nah, Bette pushed Jenny off the balcony. It was a cover-up. That's my view on it. That's what I think would have happened too. But I remember what the showrunner said specifically. Her plan was to give a spin-off show to Dana. Not Dana, to Alice, where Alice was the one that actually killed her and then ended up going to jail. And it was kind of going to be like a whole orange versus black thing. Or it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Cause like, I don't know how that would have played out, but I guess the networks didn't like it because they didn't pick it up. So, but that was the main story. Alice was going to be the killer, but now because they didn't do that, it was retconned and Jenny just killed herself. So I'm interested what happens when Helena comes back. I'm very excited about that. They don't have to mention Carmen's race if they bring her back. Unfortunately, the writer's room said no. Like, doesn't matter if they don't talk about her race. They said no. It's a no. So yeah, no more Carmen, unfortunately, unless something happens, the cosmos opens up and they get new writers. We are not going to see Sarah Sahi at all in the LWORD. It's so sad. So sad. The Farm was supposed to be the show. Is it called The Farm? Thank you. Yeah, I read about it like years ago. Honestly, I'm only mad at how the original writers handled Papi and Carmen. What was the point of changing their heritage? I thought it was dumb then. Yeah. Touche. I think the bigger problem they should have had is not with the actors, but with the casting department. I mean, they're the ones that cast a Persian woman as a Latina lady. So, I mean, but again, representation was not forefront when the LWORD was on. LWORD was groundbreaking all on its own. I mean, hell, I think when the LWORD started, my LGBT marriage wasn't even legal. So, it's a thing. It is a thing. I want to know what's up with Max and his kid. I know. Yeah, there's so many characters just like not mentioned. It's just, I really wish we got at least like some kind of closure if they're not ever going to be on the show. I feel like we're going to get more exposition on, Angie's dad as the donor, and he was only on it for a couple of episodes, than we are on Tasha and Max. Everybody else has been on the damn show. I want to know what happened with Molly. Where's Molly? Like all of it's messed up. So it's a thing. It is a thing. And we never got to hear about Carmen and Papi. Carmen said she hooked up with Ava Torres, and that is Papi's real name. Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. Did she become a famous DJ? Did she have her own music label? I mean, what is Carmen doing? I would love to know. Even if we never see her, what is she doing? That's what I'm like. I guess is really out of sight, out of mind. They just don't talk about it. It's weird. But I don't know. Like I said, guys, something is I love this show, but some things are just always going to be mystery. Like, again, where the hell is Tasha? Because when the series ended, Alice was with Tasha. And Tasha was completely 100% saying, I will always be here for you. I'm here for you now. Blah, blah, blah. She got rid of that little silly attraction she had for the other girl and came to Alice. And now it's like, no Tasha. Nothing. At least tell us what happened. You wrote an autobiography. Where the hell is Tasha? Why did you break up? I just want to know. Because I actually loved, besides her with Dana, I thought her and Tasha were very good together. So, I don't know. I would love to know where Tasha is. I really would love to know where Tasha is. And quite frankly, I mean, I feel like they need to bring in more Black lesbians because, yeah, we have Bette, but Bette is like me. She's mixed, so she's not fully Black. And we have Angie, who also is mixed because Tina is white and she carried her. So she's also biracial, even though she's darker, she's still mixed. Tasha, I don't know. I just loved her. I really loved her vibe. I loved her energy. I thought she was very good with Alice. And I don't know. I just need us to be more representative, guys. we just need more. We need more because there's too many white ones running around. And I know that sounds bad, and I'm not trying to be that way, but it's just something I've noticed. It's a formula in the L word, and I need them to stop. I need them to get a little bit more. They've gotten a little bit more inclusive, but I need them to go a little bit more and stop treating bisexuals like we're crazy. So just saying, because we're not. We're just not. We're really not. All right, guys, it has been an hour. I am tired. I still have to finish watching Lucifer. So I was going to do my Lucifer live stream tomorrow, but I'm going to do it on Saturday. So, but tomorrow I'm still doing the What If. So if you follow my MCU What If video episodes, we are doing that tomorrow at 7. So that'll be me and Groove tomorrow. If you guys have any theories, questions, concerns, heartaches, excitements, whatever about this episode, put it in the comments below so we can keep this conversation going. And also, if where you live, it is daytime, you have a very good day. If it is evening, good night, go to sleep. Be merry. And I will see you in our next video, which should be tomorrow night.